Welcome to Papa's Workshop. Well, we finally did it. My wife and I decided it was time to add a whole house generator. Yes, we live in a hurricane area. Yes, we lived through Hurricane Katrina, and it's time to add the whole house generator. Now, to do this, I don't live where there is natural gas, and I can't put in the big propane tanks. So for this one, I hired a licensed electrician. I bought the generator, and we got everything set up exactly the way it needs to be according to the regulations in this area. So let me show you how we did it today. Let's get started. First thing that we had to do is I had the electrician come out and evaluate the needs in the house to see what size generator that I needed to purchase. The next thing that we did is decided where the wires were going to run and position the generator. And it was decided that I needed to remove this section of the sheetrock, and we were going to run the wires through the ceiling joist at this point to be able to get the wiring outside of the house. So this was my portion of the job. Be able to clear out all the tools and everything out of the way so that the electrician could be able to work, and I had to remove the sheetrock and be able to have access to those ceiling joists. As far as removing the tools, really this was pretty easy. These tools that are hanging on the wall are set up on French cleats, and it was just a matter of lifting them off the wall and setting them out of the way. Can't get much easier than that. Now for the second one, yeah, I did have to take some of the tools off of it because that would just be too heavy. As far as the cabinet, I just took a few little items off the top of the cabinet and then just slid the cabinet out of the way. So this part actually went pretty smooth and pretty fast because the electrician, he was already on his way. And I certainly couldn't be the reason that he was delayed. I needed to have everything ready so when he walked in the door, he could get right to work. Once I removed the tools from this one, it was real easy to be able to do the same thing. Just lift it off the French cleats and get it out of the way. And I also needed to get these tools out of the way and that cabinet out of the way so that I could finish taking down the sheetrock, because I couldn't get the ladder close enough to the corner of the wall to be able to cut it out. So once everything was clear, it made removing the sheetrock now pretty easy to be able to do. I really wasn't interested in trying to save this sheetrock, and I just went ahead and pulled it down, and then yeah, it just broke into pieces, but that's all right. I can just put up another piece very easily later on once the electrician is done. A little sweat equity at this point is well worth it. I'm not sure what the electrician would have charged if he had to do this, but I don't mind doing it at all to be able to have it prepared and ready for him. Oh wow, my work is done. The floor is clear, all the tools are moved, the cabinets moved. Now they have access to the panel, to the ceiling joist where they need to, and nothing is going to be in their way. So my portion of the job is over with. So it's time to get the electricians in and let them start to work. And boy, were they quick. To make this work, they had to pull the new wire in, and I asked them if they had to move some of the breakers.
Yeah, I took out the two heater vent light circuit that was right here, and now they're here and here.
Okay. And that's the generator cable you're pulling there.
Yes, sir. Can you come?
So you've got green's the ground, you've got white is your common, black and a red or your power.
Yes, sir.
And you got 110, that'll be on each of the power circuits, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now if you look at the panel, you can see that the green wire, the ground, and the white, the common one, are already attached to the bus bar, and they're now working on the power, the red and the black. Those are the two wires that have to be connected to the breaker itself. There are two slots on the breaker that those wires will just slide into and then just get tightened down and screwed into place. Once that's all done, it's just a matter of setting the breaker in position on the panel and snapping it into position. Once that's done, just a matter of organizing the wires, positioning them in, and believe it guys, this is a full panel. And there you go, it's all done. To move the circuits over to the sub panel and to put in the new breaker only took just a very few minutes. Now they drilled a hole on the deck to run the wire.
When your electricity goes off, turn off your main breaker. Then you turn on this breaker, which powers up everything else, but it shuts off the main power going to your meter.
So it's like a double thing with the main breaker turned off and this one turned on. This shuts off this even though I didn't turn it off, or not?
No, you have to shut this off first. That prevents
a backflow
back to the Clico meter, correct?
Okay.
And then you turn this on, and now this breaker takes the place of this, so it controls. It's a main breaker for all of this, and everything powers back up, including the sub panel on this side.
All right, very good. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to mark this one as far as the generator.
Yes.
I'll probably put some red dots on here. And the only time that turns on is when I lose power.
Yes, sir.
So the panel's all back together now, and you can see my labeling. And I have it very clearly marked for the generator, and that breaker is off. And of course I have it labeled for the main service disconnect. Now I do have the keys for the generator here, and I want to emphasize that I do have this label to be able to turn off the service disconnect before turning on the generator, and I have the generator clearly marked that that breaker remains off until needed. So the panel's all done. The wire now is outside, run through my ceiling joist, and it's now ready to be pulled through this hole onto the deck. And here it comes. The electrician shoves it up through. I grabbed hold to it and pull that wire to the deck floor. And here it is. I think I've got plenty of wire because I may have to move the generator a little bit from time to time. With the cord now out on the deck, it was time to be able to connect that big plug. Now these wires are actually very heavy duty, and they're a little bit of a pain in the neck to be able to put together. It's a lot easier just to take the prongs out of the plastic housing and attach the wires directly to that, and then slip the wire back into the housing. This was a little trick that the electrician told me about, and from looking at it, it does work real well. Now Tillison Electric is the one that does all of my electrical work over the years, and he does an outstanding job. So I'm very pleased to be able to have him participate in putting this together for me today. Well, here's the final setup. We've got the generator in place. I've got my cord where I can plug it in. The generator's in a well-ventilated area under a covered porch, so this is going to be a really good location to have it. So this was a fun project to do, and it's something that's going to be really helpful, especially considering that we've had 3 storms already this year, and we got 1 in the Gulf right now. You never know what's going to happen. I think this is going to be a very, very active season. Hi everyone, thank you for watching my video today. If you like the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell next to it so you'll be notified on the different videos that I upload. Also check out the videos over here to be able to stay up to date on the happenings in my shop. So again, thank you for watching my videos.